Cinemacy is so excited to be on the red carpet for the world premiere of the wartime drama The Kill Team, starring Nat Wolff and Alexander Skarsgård. Now, the BMCC venue where we're at here at the Tribeca Film Festival has one of the largest red carpets I have ever been on. And it actually looks like we have some talent starting to come down the carpet. So let's wrap this intro up so we can get talking to some of those guys. So nice to meet you. Thank you for stopping for one really quick question. I know you're very in demand. So can you tell me a little bit about your character and how you got into character for this film? Like, did you watch any movies beforehand, or how did you kind of become who you are in this film?
Well, I'd seen Kill Team, Dan's documentary, and I was, it's horrific but very interesting. I was fascinated by the dynamic of the group and how my character, how he was able to manipulate the soldiers, and it's almost like a love triangle. These young guys are vying for his attention, his approval, and he in a masterful way takes advantage of that and manipulates them, and they kind of lose their own moral compass completely and are suddenly able. Good guys that suddenly are doing horrific things.
Right. We heard you were kind of the Don. We talked to Dan earlier that you were the Don of the soldiers.
Well, he's older. He's a sergeant. They're enlisted soldiers, and he's done 3 tours in Afghanistan. He's very experienced. So when he shows up, they look up to him. They're green. It's their first tour, and they admire him in the beginning, and he, again, takes advantage of that because he knows he can push them and form them and shape them to exactly the type of soldiers he wants them to be, which has horrific consequences.
Yeah. Well, this is the biggest red carpet, I think, at Tribeca. This is amazing. Congratulations on the world premiere.
Thank
Very
you.
excited to see it.
Thank you so
much. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We've been reading just kind of the summary of it, and it seems like a very intense movie. Were there any films that you watched kind of in preparation to how you wanted to approach a film like this?
Yeah, there are a couple different kinds of movies that I watched while I was writing the film. One was, interestingly, the mob genre of movies. This is essentially, you'll see when you watch the movie, this is the story of the creation of a mafia. And Alexander is the Don. He's testing people. He is asking them to perform rituals in order to prove their worth. And there was a lot of I took a lot of inspiration from classic mob movies in formulating that dynamic. And then, of course, I will say also there are some phenomenal war documentaries from Afghanistan that I had some of the guys watch. Restrepo, for example, and the photographs of Tim Hetherington that were influential in just kind of finding the brotherhood, the authenticity of that brotherhood that was so crucial to making the world feel real.
Right. Well, and soldiers are regarded as heroes because they are.
Yeah.
So kind of in that context, who would you say is your hero in a filmmaking aspect or, cinematography
I'd say
aspect?
Alex.
Alex,
No.
you're a hero. I will tell him that when he passes
Matt,
by.
too, yeah. I have...
mentors, yeah, anyone that you kind of looked up to.
I had some amazing mentors in the documentary world. That's such a good question, and one that I don't know I have a great answer to. But I grew up on a steady diet of Coppola and Spielberg and Spike Lee and some of the greats, the great directors that we still have today. But of course, were making some of their best work in the 1980s, 70s, and 80s. And so a lot of those movies have had a lasting influence on me.
Did you watch any films to kind of get into character, or how did you become who you were?
So I came onto this project really late. Yeah, I got a phone call and they said, can you be on the plane in 2 weeks?
Well, that's a compliment.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, okay, 2 weeks. So what I did was, the character's a winner, and he's a really sort of intense guy, and I think his desire to be the best is what led him to be vulnerable, to be manipulated to do these things. And I kind of felt that on such a short space of time, the only way I was going to find that was like in the gym. So I hired a personal trainer, a really great guy in England called Jens, and we just trained twice a day, but really nastily, to the point where it was really difficult, and you wanted to throw up all the time. But somewhere in that real horrible pain and darkness, I found him a little bit in there. Yeah.
Is that something you're going to keep up post the Kill Team, or you're just going to kind of?
It just felt really appropriate for this. Okay. I don't think a romantic comedy requires that.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, congratulations.